How to Stay Strong When You Feel Weak. Full audiobook. There will be days when your mind breaks before your body does. Days when you question your worth, your strength, your direction. But hear this clearly. Weakness is not your enemy. Your surrender to it is. This audiobook is your reminder that you are stronger than your doubt, tougher than your feelings, and more capable than your fear wants you to believe. You have a choice. Collapse or rise. And today, you learn how to rise, no matter how heavy life feels. Let's begin.
Chapter 1. Stop letting your feelings lead you. You've been led by your feelings for too long. That's the truth most people refuse to say out loud. And I'll say this clearly, directly, without sugarcoating a single word. Your feelings are not the problem. Your obedience to them is. Every time you let a feeling walk in, sit down, and take control of your life, you surrender power you didn't have to lose. That's the pattern you need to break. And you can break it today. Because no matter how strong your emotions feel in the moment, you have a choice. That's the key. You always have a choice. Feel fear? Fine. Feel doubt? Fine. Feel lazy, angry, overwhelmed, insecure, uncertain? Fine. Feel it, but don't follow it. That is the discipline. That is the dividing line between a life that moves forward and a life that keeps circling the same dead-end streets. Let me tell you the truth most people won't admit. Your feelings fluctuate every day. Your principles don't. Your emotions change with sleep, weather, hunger, stress, comments, memories, notifications, failures, successes. They rise, they crash, they shift. But your principles, your commitments, your values, your discipline, those can be solid. Those can be the anchor if you choose them to be. If you let feelings lead, your life becomes unpredictable. If you let discipline lead, your life becomes unstoppable. That's the key. Let's talk about fear. Fear has controlled more decisions in your life than you want to admit. You've said no to opportunities you were built for, not because they were wrong for you, but because you were afraid of looking stupid, afraid of failing, afraid of judgment. Fear isn't the villain. Following fear is. You don't need to eliminate fear. You need to stop bowing to it. Feel the fear, but don't follow it. You think courageous people feel less fear than you? No, they just don't let it drive the car. They don't hand it the wheel. They don't let anxiety choose their direction. They feel it, and they act anyway. And because they act anyway, they grow, they rise, they develop proof that they're stronger than their emotions. And the moment you prove to yourself that you can act without emotional permission, that's the moment your entire identity starts to shift. You have a choice. You always have a choice. Let's talk about quitting too early. You've walked away from goals not because they were impossible, but because they were uncomfortable. You gave up on habits when motivation faded. You dropped routines the moment inconvenience showed up. You abandoned dreams the second the path became slow. Do you know what that is? That's emotion-led living. Motivation is a feeling. Excitement is a feeling. Momentum is a feeling. And feelings don't last. But discipline does. Commitment does. Daily repetition does. You don't need more inspiration. You don't need more hype. You don't need more good days. You need discipline. You need consistency. You need the ability to act independent of mood. Because you'll never build a strong life if the only time you show up is when you feel like it. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. That's the key. Let's talk about emotional reactions. How many situations in your life were damaged not by what happened, but by how you reacted? You snapped when you needed to stay calm. You panicked when you needed to think. You lashed out when silence would have kept the situation intact. You walked out when staying steady would have solved everything. Feeling angry is not the problem. Feeling frustrated is not the problem. Feeling hurt is not the problem. Reacting through those states, that's the problem. You felt something intense, and you let it lead you. But what if you paused? What if you let the emotion pass before acting? What if you separated reaction from principle? Principle: I respond with clarity. Feeling: I'm angry. Discipline: I won't follow this anger. Principle: I don't quit on my commitments. Feeling: I'm tired. Discipline: I'll finish before I rest. Principle: I stay focused. Feeling: I'm overwhelmed. Discipline: one task at a time. That's the shift you need. That's the transformation you're here for. You don't eliminate feelings. You override them with discipline. Here's the truth you need to hear. Your feelings are supposed to be signals, not leaders. They give information, not direction. They add color, not command. You've been treating feelings as instructions. That ends today. From now on, you follow this rule. Feel everything. Follow nothing except your principles, because your emotions are not qualified to run your life. Your discipline is. Your emotions don't care about your future. Your discipline does. Your emotions want comfort. Your discipline wants progress. Your emotions want relief. Your discipline wants results. Your emotions want shortcuts. Your discipline wants the truth. That's the key. And you have a choice. Let's get practical. Here is what you start doing immediately. 1. When you feel a strong emotion, pause for 10 seconds. This prevents 90% of emotional damage. 2. Name the feeling aloud or in your mind. I feel angry. I feel afraid. I feel tired. Naming it reduces its power. 3. Ask one question. What action aligns with my principles, not my emotions? Then do that. 4. Create a simple daily rule: I act first, feel second. Meaning, you show up whether or not you feel like it. 5. Stop giving emotional explanations for your behavior. I didn't feel like it is no longer a sentence you use. These 5 behaviors will change your life faster than any motivation video, any podcast, any motivational quote, any feel-good speech. Because transformation isn't emotional. It's behavioral. It's structural. It's disciplined. You have a choice. And the moment you start choosing principle over emotion, everything changes. Let's close this chapter with the truth you need to carry forward. You are not too emotional. You are undisciplined about where those emotions take you. But that changes now. You feel it, but you don't follow it. You choose your direction. You choose your reaction. You choose your standards. You choose your discipline. You have a choice, and that choice is your power. You mastered the first step. Stop letting your feelings lead you. Now, let's move to the next truth, the one that will define your time, your energy, and your entire future. Chapter 2. Control the first thought, command the next move. There's a moment in your day that decides everything. A moment most people never analyze. A moment that separates the reactive life from the disciplined life. That moment is the first thought. The first thought you have when something hits you. Good news, bad news, pressure, stress, criticism, opportunity, temptation, fear. That first thought is automatic. It's raw. It's human. And it's not your fault. Let me repeat that so it lands. The first thought is human. The next move is discipline. That's the key. You don't get to choose your initial reaction. Your brain fires it automatically based on survival, old habits, old memories, old fears. That's the human part. But what you do next, what you do after that first thought, that's where your power is. You have a choice. You always have a choice. And too many people waste their lives blaming themselves for the first thought instead of training themselves to command the next move. Let's break this down. You wake up and the first thought is, I'm too tired. Human. Someone criticizes your work and the first thought is, I'm not good enough. Human. You face a challenge and the first thought is, I can't handle this. Human. You see an opportunity and the first thought is, what if I fail? Human. You're tempted by distraction and the first thought is, just do it later. Human. None of that makes you weak. None of that makes you broken. None of that makes you undisciplined. The first thought isn't the problem. Following the first thought is the problem, because the next move, the action you choose after the thought, that's discipline. And discipline is a choice. Top performers understand this better than anyone. Athletes don't win because they feel confident every time they compete. They win because they act according to training, not emotion. Soldiers don't stay calm because they never feel fear. They stay functional because they override panic with protocol. Entrepreneurs, creators, leaders, they don't succeed because their minds are peaceful. They succeed because their next move is never controlled by their first thought. Their motto is simple. The first thought is human. The next move is discipline. They live by it. They rely on it. They repeat it until their reactions become trained responses. And that's exactly what you need to do. Let's talk about your patterns. You've spent most of your life giving the first thought too much respect. You treated it like a command instead of a reflex. You felt fear, so you backed down. You felt doubt, so you postponed. You felt overwhelmed, so you escaped. You felt unmotivated, so you stopped. But don't forget this. You don't need your feelings' permission to act. The first thought is the spark. The next move is the fire. The first thought is instinct. The next move is discipline. The first thought is noise. The next move is signal. That's the key. Here's the truth. Most of your self-sabotage didn't come from the first thought. It came from believing the first thought. It came from obeying the first thought. It came from never pushing past the first thought. You made the mistake of thinking your first thought is your identity. It's not. It's your programming. And programming can be rewritten, rewired, rebuilt. But only if you control the one thing that matters. The next move. Let's make this practical. Here are the 5 steps that top performers use, steps you can implement today. 1. Recognize the first thought immediately. Don't hide from it. Don't judge it. Just identify it. I feel panic. I feel lazy. I feel fear. I feel doubt. Naming it separates you from it. 2. Remind yourself this is human, not final. Say it in your mind, say it out loud if you have to. This first thought is human. The next move is discipline. This interrupts the automatic loop. 3. Ask yourself one question. What does the disciplined version of me do next? Not what do I feel like doing, not what's easiest, not what's comfortable, but what does my disciplined identity do next? That's the key. 4. Act immediately. Small or big doesn't matter. Momentum begins with a single movement. Action kills hesitation. Action kills fear. Action kills doubt. The next move doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be intentional. 5. Repeat this every day until it becomes automatic. This is how soldiers train. This is how athletes train. This is how disciplined people build unstoppable lives. Repetition rewires you. Repetition shapes identity. Repetition makes discipline natural. You're not trying to eliminate the first thought. You're trying to dominate the next move. Let's talk about your patterns. You've spent most of your life giving the first thought too much respect. You treated it like a command instead of a reflex. You felt fear, so you backed down. You felt doubt, so you postponed. You felt overwhelmed, so you escaped. You felt unmotivated, so you stopped. But don't forget this. You don't need your feelings' permission to act. The first thought is the spark. The next move is the fire. The first thought is instinct. The next move is discipline. The first thought is noise. The next move is signal. That's the key. Here's the truth. Most of your self-sabotage didn't come from the first thought. It came from believing the first thought. It came from obeying the first thought. It came from never pushing past the first thought. You made the mistake of thinking your first thought is your identity. It's not. It's your programming, and programming can be rewritten, rewired, rebuilt. But only if you control the one thing that matters, the next move. Let's make this practical. Here are the 5 steps that top performers use, steps you can implement today. 1. Recognize the first thought immediately. Don't hide from it. Don't judge it. Just identify it. I feel panic. I feel lazy. I feel doubt. I feel doubt. Naming it separates you from it. 2. Remind yourself this is human, not final. Say it in your mind. Say it out loud if you have to. This first thought is human. The next move is discipline. This interrupts the automatic loop. 3. Ask yourself one question. What does the disciplined version of me do next? Not what do I feel like doing, not what's easiest, not what's comfortable, but what does my disciplined identity do next? That's the key. 4. Act immediately. Small or big doesn't matter. Momentum begins with a single movement. Action kills hesitation. Action kills fear. Action kills doubt. The next move doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be intentional. 5. Repeat this every day until it becomes automatic. This is how soldiers train. This is how athletes train. This is how disciplined people build unstoppable lives. Repetition rewires you. Repetition shapes identity. Repetition makes discipline natural. You're not trying to eliminate the first thought. You're trying to dominate the next move. Let me give you an example. You wake up and the first thought is, I want to stay in bed. Human. Your next move, feet on the floor. No negotiation, no argument, just action. That's discipline. You get a message that triggers you. Your first thought is, respond right now. React, defend. Human. Your next move, pause, breathe, respond hours later or not at all. That's discipline. You look at your goals and the first thought is, it's too much. Human. Your next move, choose one step, one task, one action. That's discipline. You feel insecure about something new. Your first thought is, what if I'm not ready? Human. Your next move, start anyway. That's discipline. The first thought is human. The next move is discipline. That's your new operating system. Here's the deeper truth. You can't control the instinct, but you can control the identity. You can't control the reaction, but you can control the response. You can't control the spark, but you can control the fire. Most people never learn this. Most people think they need to fix their thoughts before they can act. That's why most people stay stuck. You don't wait for better thoughts. You create better actions. Because action rewires thought, not the other way around. That's the key. Let's close this chapter with a commitment. From this day forward, you stop judging your first thought. You stop fighting your first thought. You stop defining yourself by your first thought. You replace one sentence with a new one. I'm not controlled by the first thought. I command the next move. That's power. That's discipline. That's transformation. You just learned one of the most important principles of a high-performance life. The first thought is human. The next move is discipline. And you have a choice. Every time. Now that you can control the next move, it's time to control the environment that shapes your moves.
Chapter 3. Pain is data, not a verdict. You've been taught to fear pain, to avoid it, to run from it, to treat it like a sign that something is wrong with you. But here's the truth the world rarely teaches you. Pain is not a verdict. Pain is data, and data is direction. That's the key. Pain does not say you're done. Pain says pay attention. Pain does not say you're weak. Pain says here is where you grow. Pain does not say stop. Pain says adjust, learn, continue. You have a choice. You can let pain define you, or you can let pain inform you. One path keeps you small. The other path makes you powerful. Let's get something straight. Most people collapse under pain because they misunderstand it. They think pain equals failure. They think pain equals punishment.
They think pain equals identity, but pain is none of those things. Pain is a message. Pain is feedback. Pain is information. If you treat pain like a verdict, you stop. If you treat pain like data, you grow. And that's the difference between a life of setbacks and a life of breakthroughs. Let's look at your life. Think about the moments that broke you, the heartbreak that tore you apart, the betrayal you never saw coming, the opportunity you lost, the door that closed, the mistake you made, the dream that fell through. Every one of those moments didn't just hurt you, they taught you. They revealed something, a blind spot, a weakness, a pattern, a tendency, a truth. Pain is data. Data is direction. That's the key. But you missed the lesson because you were too busy judging the pain instead of studying it. You treated pain like an enemy, when in reality, pain is one of the most honest allies you will ever have. Let's go deeper. Physical pain tells you something. Your body needs rest. Your form is wrong. Your stress is high. Emotional pain tells you something. Your standards are low. Your boundaries are weak. Your expectations are unrealistic. Mental pain tells you something. Your habits are outdated. Your environment is wrong. Your beliefs are limiting. Pain is the messenger. Your response is the meaning. And you have a choice. Real-life examples make this clear. 1. The athlete who hits a plateau. Pain shows up as exhaustion, as frustration, as slow progress. Most people quit, but the disciplined athlete uses the data. They change the training. They change the recovery. They change the mindset. Pain didn't stop them. Pain directed them. 2. The person whose heart gets broken. Pain shows up as heartbreak, as loneliness, as grief. Most people close themselves off, but the disciplined person studies the pain. They learn their boundaries. They learn their patterns. They learn their worth. Pain didn't destroy them. Pain revealed them. 3. The entrepreneur whose first business fails. Pain shows up as embarrassment, as loss, as fear. Most people walk away forever, but the disciplined entrepreneur reads the data. They learn what works. They learn what doesn't. They learn resilience. Pain didn't end the journey. Pain improved the strategy. Pain is data. Data is direction. Say it again. Here's the problem. You made the mistake of believing pain is proof that you're not enough. But pain is proof that you're evolving, growing, expanding, reaching. Pain happens at the boundary between who you are and who you are meant to become. Pain is the stretch. Pain is the signal. Pain is the map, but only if you treat it correctly. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about interpreting pain. It's not about fearing pain. It's about translating pain. It's not about suppressing pain. It's about learning from pain. That's the key. Let's talk about what you must stop doing. Stop saying, "Why me?" Start asking, "What is this teaching me?" Stop saying, "I can't handle this." Start saying, "What is this revealing about me?" Stop saying, "This pain means I should quit." Start saying, "This pain shows me where to focus." Because the moment you change the question, you change the meaning. And when you change the meaning, you change the outcome. Now let's get practical. Here's how to turn pain into data every time. Step 1. Pause before reacting. Your first emotional response is instinct. The reaction after that is discipline. You have a choice. Step 2. Identify the pain clearly. Say it out loud if you have to. I feel rejected. I feel exhausted. I feel angry. Naming pain turns confusion into clarity. Step 3. Ask the data question. What is this trying to teach me? This question transforms pain from personal to informational. What pattern is this exposing? What boundary is missing? What skill do I need? Pain speaks. You listen. Step 4. Adjust with disciplined action. Pain gives you the data. You create the direction. If it hurts because you lack discipline, build discipline. If it hurts because your standards are low, raise them.
If it hurts because your environment is wrong, change it. Step 5. Repeat the process until it becomes instinct. Pain. Pause. Analyze. Adjust. Grow. This is how warriors evolve. This is how strong people transform. This is how you stop letting pain break you and start letting it shape you. Pain is data. Data is direction. Repeat it until it becomes a reflex. Let's end this chapter with a hard truth. The moments that hurt you the most are the moments that taught you the most. You didn't know it at the time, but now you do. Your pain was not the end. It was the beginning. It was the blueprint. It was the compass. Pain pointed you toward a stronger version of yourself. Again and again. The only difference now, you see it. You understand it. You can use it. Pain is not a verdict. Pain is data. And data is direction. You have a choice. Use the pain or be used by it. Now that you understand how to read pain, it's time to protect the one thing that pain always tries to steal: your energy. Chapter 4. Build strength in moments no one sees. Strength is not built on stages. Strength is not built in applause. Strength is not built where people can watch, judge, or approve. Strength is built in silence. Strength is built in private. Strength is built in the moments no one sees and no one celebrates. Master the unseen. Strength starts in silence. That's the key. Most people pretend to be strong in public. Few people choose to become strong in private. One is performance, the other is power. And you have a choice. Let's start with a truth you may not want to hear. The battles that determine your future are not the ones you post about. They are not the ones people applaud. They are not the ones you announce. The real battles happen in the dark, at 5 a.m. when no one knows you're awake. At night, when everyone else is scrolling and you're studying. When temptation calls you and you say no with no witnesses. When you want to break your routine, but you don't. When you want to give in, but you rise anyway. That's where strength is built. That's where discipline is born. That's where confidence comes from. Confidence does not come from what people see. Confidence comes from what you know about yourself when nobody is watching. Master the unseen. Strength starts in silence. Private discipline creates public confidence. People think confidence is loud. They think confidence is flashy. They think confidence is something you show, but confidence is something you stockpile. Confidence grows every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you choose the harder path, every time you say not today to a distraction, every time you do the small, quiet things consistently. Confidence is built when you're alone. Your public life is just evidence of how you lived in private. For years, soldiers, athletes, CEOs, artists, they all learned the same truth. Your performance in public reflects your discipline in private. You cannot fake what you didn't build. You cannot pretend to be strong if you avoided the work. You cannot demand respect if you refuse self-control. Strength starts in silence. Master the unseen. That's the key. Let's look at what these unseen moments actually are. 1. Waking up when your feelings tell you to stay in bed. No audience. No applause. No validation. Just you versus you. This is a private victory, but it shapes your entire day. This is where strength grows. 2. Choosing honesty when lying would make life easier. No one knows the truth except you, but integrity built in secret becomes power in public. People can feel it. They sense when you're grounded. 3. Saying no to distractions that don't respect your future. Scrolling, gossip, chaos, all of it pulls you away from the person you're trying to build. Every quiet no makes the louder yes to your goals more real. 4. Controlling your impulses, your anger, your urges, your reactions, your cravings. These are the moments that shape your character far more than anything you do on a stage. Strength isn't the loudest moment. It's the smallest, the quietest, the least dramatic. Strength is built in decisions that feel invisible.
Most people will never understand this. They want the reward without the routine, the spotlight without the sacrifice, the outcome without the self-control. They want to be strong in public but weak in private. They want recognition without repetition. But you're not most people. You're building a different life. You don't need their permission. You don't need their applause. You don't need their validation. Strength does not start when people are watching. It starts when you make choices they will never know about. Master the unseen. Strength starts in silence. Now let's expose the truth about private battles. Hidden battles matter more than public battles because private battles reveal who you are. Public battles reveal who you pretend to be. When you're alone, there's no act, no image, no mask, no audience, just the raw, unfiltered version of you. This is the version you must master, because if you win the battles no one sees, you will win every battle the world sees. That's the key. Here's where most people sabotage themselves. They underestimate small decisions. They undervalue consistency. They ignore the private moments. They think strength is built in the big events, the big achievements, the big breakthroughs. But those big moments are built from thousands of small ones. Skipping a workout doesn't seem like much until you skip 30. Ignoring a boundary doesn't seem like much until you lose yourself. Letting impulse win doesn't seem like much until it becomes who you are. Strength is built every day, lived every day, strengthened every day. Not in the grand moments, but in the micro choices that compound. You have a choice. Every day, every hour, every quiet moment. Choose strength. Choose discipline. Choose the unseen path. Now let's get practical. Here are the exact behaviors that build private power. 1. Keep the promises nobody knows about. If you say you'll wake up early, do it. If you say you'll stop scrolling, stop. If you say you'll work on your dream, work. Every kept promise becomes proof. Proof becomes confidence. 2. Build routines that don't require motivation. Motivation is loud. Discipline is silent. Build systems that run whether you feel like it or not. That's how strength becomes automatic. 3. Track your private victories. Write them down. Your brain forgets what you don't record. Write your discipline. Write your resistance. Write your improvements. These are your private trophies. 4. Remove distractions with aggression. Delete apps. Block noise. Cut passive people. You're not hurting them, you're strengthening you. That's the key. 5. Guard your invisible hours. The late night hours, the early morning hours, the moments between tasks. These shape your future more than anything else. Now let's end this chapter with the truth that will define your new identity. The strongest people you know didn't build their strength in front of crowds. They built their bedrooms, and their kitchens, and their cars, in the quiet corners of their lives where no one applauded and no one noticed. They mastered the unseen. They built discipline in silence. They earned confidence through private consistency. You can do the same. You have a choice. Every single day. Strength built in silence becomes power in public. Master the unseen. Strength starts in silence. Now that you understand where strength is built, it's time to understand what destroys it faster than anything else. The mind you refuse to train. Chapter 5. Stop begging for support. Become your own foundation. You need to hear this clearly. Stop begging for support. Stop waiting for someone to clap for you. Stop hoping the world will finally understand your mission, because they won't. Not consistently, not predictably, not in the moments you need it most. Support is a bonus, not a requirement. Commitment is the requirement. That's the key. You don't need their permission. You need commitment. Say it again. You don't need their permission. You need commitment. Too many people delay their lives waiting for applause. Too many people pause their progress because someone didn't approve. Too many people fold because someone questioned their dream. But here's the truth. Support is unpredictable. Validation is unstable. External encouragement is inconsistent, and you can't build a strong life on unstable ground. You have to become your own foundation. You have a choice. You can keep bending your purpose to match someone else's opinion, or you can decide that your purpose stands on its own. You can keep waiting for encouragement, or you can create the discipline that makes encouragement unnecessary. You can keep asking, "Do you think I can do it?" Or you can start saying, "Watch me." That's the shift. That's the transformation. That's the key. The trap of waiting for understanding. People won't understand your vision because they didn't receive it. It wasn't sent to them. It was sent to you. Your dream wasn't emailed to your family. Your goals weren't downloaded into your friends. Your calling wasn't whispered into your coworkers' ears. So why do you expect them to see what you see? Why do you expect them to carry what you carry? Why do you expect them to feel what you feel? You have a choice. Either waste years waiting for someone to get it, or stop explaining and start executing. Remember this: purpose doesn't need permission. Commitment doesn't need applause. And discipline doesn't need validation. When you rely on validation, you lose power. Relying on support makes you weak, not because support is bad, but because expecting it makes you dependent. And dependency kills discipline. If your progress depends on someone else cheering, you're already losing. If your confidence collapses every time someone doubts you, your foundation isn't strong. It's fragile. You become easy to influence, easy to discourage, easy to derail. But when you build yourself, when you trust yourself, when you validate yourself, nothing can stop you. Because the strongest person in your life becomes you, not their approval, not their mood, not their support. You don't need permission. You need commitment. How waiting weakens decision-making. Every time you pause to seek approval, you slow down your momentum. You wait, you second-guess, you hesitate. Hesitation is poison. Hesitation destroys opportunities. Hesitation is the enemy of clarity. You know what's worse? Most people who delay you don't even mean to. They're not trying to hurt you. They're just living their own lives with their own fears, their own limitations, their own blind spots. And if you're not careful, their limitations become your limitations. You have a choice. Protect your momentum or hand it away hoping someone will cheer for you. That's the key. Build your own foundation. How to do it? This is where transformation happens. Not in inspiration, in structure, in discipline, in action. Here's what it looks like. 1. Become your own encourager. Every morning you say it. I move with or without support, not in arrogance, in independence. Whether someone claps or stays silent, you move. Whether someone believes or doubts, you move. Whether someone joins you or disappears, you move. Movement is commitment. Movement is self-trust. 2. Reduce emotional dependence. Stop expecting people to feel your urgency. Stop needing reassurance. Stop fishing for comfort. Comfort doesn't build warriors. Comfort doesn't build leaders. Comfort doesn't build discipline. Detach emotionally from people's opinions. Attach emotionally to your mission. 3. Make decisions alone. You know the right thing. You know the next step. You know the direction. Choose, decide, act. Every independent decision strengthens your internal foundation. Every self-led step proves you don't need permission. 4. Expect silence and keep going. The world stays quiet during your climb. That's reality. That's normal. That's the process. You climb in silence. You grow in silence. You transform in silence. Later, much later, the same people who doubted will ask how you did it, and you will know the truth. You built yourself. You built your discipline. You built your foundation. In silence. Master the unseen. Master the unheard. Master the unvalidated. That's how you build yourself. That's how you become unshakable. The power of self-support. When you stop begging for support, you unlock something bigger than encouragement. You unlock freedom. You stop adjusting to opinions. You stop shrinking to fit. You stop waiting to begin. You rise because of you. You grow because of you. You win because of you. That's the level that scares people, because the person who doesn't need permission is unstoppable. It's not about reassurance. It's about discipline. It's not about applause. It's about consistency. It's not about validation. It's about commitment. Say it one more time. You don't need permission. You need commitment. Transition to next chapter. You just learned how to build a life on your own foundation, one that can't be shaken by silence, doubt, or lack of support. Now it's time to secure the next layer of power, because once you stop relying on others, you must learn how to rely on something even deeper. Your time, your focus, your attention. You built independence. Now let's talk about the true currency that shapes your entire life.
Chapter 6. When you feel weak, simplify. When you feel weak, you don't need motivation. You need simplicity. Weakness doesn't come from failure. It comes from overload. It comes from too many tabs open in your mind, too many fears, too many tasks, too many expectations. Overwhelmed minds break quickly. Simplified systems restore confidence. That's the key. You have a choice: drown in the chaos or shrink the chaos until it becomes manageable. This is where discipline begins, not in inspiration, not in hype, not in excitement. Discipline begins in simplicity. Shrink the task, strengthen the mind. Say it again. Shrink the task, strengthen the mind. The truth about feeling weak. Feeling weak doesn't mean you're broken. It means your mental load is too heavy. It means your brain is trying to juggle more than it was designed to. It means you've complicated your path with unnecessary noise. Weakness isn't a character flaw. Weakness is a signal. Weakness is a message. And the message is simple. Simplify. You don't need a new life. You don't need a new mindset. You don't need a new identity. You need fewer moving parts. You have a choice. Either continue carrying everything at once or strip it down until the next step becomes obvious. That's the key. The power of the rule of one. Here's where transformation happens. You take your entire mess, your stress, your unfinished goals, your overthinking, your pressure, your fear, your confusion, and you reduce it down to one thing, one task, one step, one win. This is the rule of one. Not 10 tasks, not 5 steps, not 3 priorities. One thing you can control right now. One small action you can execute today. One decision that moves you forward. That's the key. This rule saves careers. This rule saves mental strength. This rule saves people from quitting too early, because small wins rebuild power. That's the key. Why simplifying works. Your brain loves clarity. Your brain performs best with structure. Your brain gains confidence through progress, not perfection. When the mind is overwhelmed, it freezes. When the mind is simplified, it moves. Movement builds belief. Belief builds consistency. Consistency builds power. It's not about being strong. It's about being focused. It's not about being fearless. It's about being organized. It's not about intense effort. It's about reduced friction. You don't need permission.
You need clarity. You have a choice every day. Keep drowning in complexity or rise through simplicity. Examples of how simplification changes everything. A messy room? Don't clean the whole room. Clean one corner, one shelf, one drawer. That single act of order builds momentum. A collapsing schedule? Don't plan the entire week. Plan the next hour. Set one priority. Complete it. A goal that feels impossible? Don't rewrite your entire life. Just pick one action that brings you closer. Do it consistently. A fitness journey that feels overwhelming? Forget the perfect program. Do one workout. Take one walk. Drink one more glass of water. Each one becomes a brick. Bricks become a wall. Walls become a fortress. That's how strength is built. Not all at once. Not in a dramatic transformation, but in simple, repeatable actions that build unshakable confidence. Shrink the task. Strengthen the mind. Overthinking is a result of complexity. Overthinking doesn't come from ignorance. It comes from too many options, too many what-ifs, too many directions. Your mind tries to solve everything, so it ends up solving nothing. When you simplify, you remove the noise. You remove the extra choices. You remove the mental clutter. Overthinking dies when clarity appears. You have a choice. Think endlessly or pick one move and act. Action ends overthinking. Action ends fear. Action ends confusion. That's the key. What to do when you feel completely overwhelmed. This is the real-world instruction, the step-by-step, the method. 1. Stop everything for 10 seconds. Not to relax, to reset, to interrupt the mental storm. 2. Ask one question. What's the next smallest step? Not the whole solution, not the perfect plan, the next smallest step. 3. Remove everything else. All the noise, all the extras, all the unnecessary tasks. 4. Do that one thing immediately. Not later, not after overthinking. Now. Momentum begins at now. 5. Celebrate the small win. Because a small win in a weak moment is a massive win in a strong life. That's how you rebuild yourself. Not through miracles, through reduction. Shrink the task, strengthen the mind. Simplification is a form of discipline. Most people think discipline is intensity. It's not. Intensity burns out. Intensity collapses. Intensity relies on emotion. Discipline is clarity. Discipline is structure. Discipline is consistency. Anyone can be intense for a day. Few can be simple every day. Simplicity requires courage. Simplicity requires humility. Simplicity requires letting go of everything that doesn't matter. You don't need permission to simplify. You need discipline to simplify. You have a choice. Live complicated and feel weak, or live simple and grow strong. That's the key. Building confidence through simplicity. Every time you follow the rule of one, your confidence grows. One task completed proves you're capable. One step executed proves you're in motion. One win earned proves you can win again. Strength isn't built in intensity. Strength is built in repetition. Strength is built in simplicity. This is how athletes recover from setbacks. This is how entrepreneurs rebuild after failure. This is how leaders stabilize in chaos. They simplify. They focus. They execute the next step. One step at a time. One moment at a time. One victory at a time. Shrink the task. Strengthen the mind. Transition to next chapter. You simplified your load. You controlled the chaos. You learned how to rebuild strength through clarity and small wins. Now it's time to confront a deeper truth. Some of your exhaustion doesn't come from tasks. It comes from people. And if you don't protect your energy, your discipline won't survive. You mastered simplicity. Now let's talk about the real drain holding you back.
Chapter 7. Calm is a strength multiplier. Calm isn't soft. Calm isn't passive. Calm isn't weakness. Calm is control. Calm is precision. Calm is power. You've been told that strength looks loud. You've been told that real power looks aggressive. You've been told that intensity is the only way to win. But the truth is simple. Intensity wobbles. Emotion misfires. Panic destroys strategy. Calm multiplies strength. Calm sharpens vision. Calm unlocks clarity. That's the key. Why calm matters more than force. Any person can panic. Any person can react. Any person can explode under pressure. But calm? Calm is earned. Calm is trained. Calm is a discipline. When your mind is calm, your decisions are cleaner. When your mind is calm, your reactions are sharper. When your mind is calm, your energy is yours again. You have a choice. Let chaos control you, or step into calm and take control back. Calm is control. Calm is power. Repeat it until it sinks into your bones. Calm under pressure is a trained skill. People say, "I can't stay calm. That's just how I am." No, that's not how you are. That's how you've practiced being. First responders aren't born calm. Soldiers aren't born calm. Negotiators aren't born calm. Leaders aren't born calm. They become calm through repetition. They become calm through exposure. They become calm through training. They understand something you must understand. Your first emotion is human. Your next move is discipline. And calm is the discipline that steadies everything. The psychology of calmness. Let's break it down. When you panic, your brain narrows. Your field of vision shrinks. You miss options. You miss solutions. You miss danger. When you calm down, your brain opens. Your field of vision widens. You see possibilities. You see strategy. You see the truth. Calm isn't spiritual fluff. Calm is neurological advantage. That's the key. Your breath slows. Your heart rate drops. Your cognitive performance increases. Your decision-making becomes intelligent instead of emotional. Calm literally multiplies your strength. Real-world examples of calm power. A firefighter walks into burning chaos scanning for exits, hazards, and survivors, not reacting emotionally, but acting deliberately. Why? Because calm keeps people alive. A pilot lands a failing aircraft with a steady voice and steady hands. Not because they're fearless, but because fear doesn't fix anything. Calm does. A negotiator in a hostage situation doesn't yell, doesn't panic, doesn't rush. They speak slowly. They observe. They calculate. Why? Because calm creates influence. And the same applies to you. You don't need a hostage situation to practice calm. You just need a life, a job, a relationship, a stressful moment. Calm works everywhere. Calm is control. Calm is power. You lose power when you lose calm. Think about the moments you regret most. Think about the words you wish you didn't say. Think about the decisions you made too fast. Think about the reactions that cost you opportunities. Every one of them has the same root cause. You lost your calm. And when you lose calm, you lose clarity. When you lose clarity, you lose control. When you lose control, you lose power. You can't be mentally strong and emotionally chaotic. You can't be disciplined and reactionary. You can't be strategic and panic. You have a choice. React like everyone else or rise like someone different. Calm is control. Calm is power. Repeat it until it sinks into your bones. Calm under pressure is a trained skill. People say, I can't stay calm. That's just how I am. No, that's not how you are. That's how you've practiced being. First responders aren't born calm. Soldiers aren't born calm. Negotiators aren't born calm. Leaders aren't born calm. They become calm through repetition. They become calm through exposure. They become calm through training. They understand something you must understand. Your first emotion is human. Your next move is discipline. And calm is the discipline that steadies everything. The psychology of calmness. Let's break it down. When you panic, your brain narrows. Your field of vision shrinks. You miss options. You miss solutions. You miss danger. When you calm down, your brain opens. Your field of vision widens. You see possibilities. You see strategy. You see the truth. Calm isn't spiritual fluff. Calm is neurological advantage. That's the key. Your breath slows. Your heart rate drops. Your cognitive performance increases. Your decision-making becomes intelligent instead of emotional. Calm literally multiplies your strength. Real-world examples of calm power. A firefighter walks into burning chaos scanning for exits, hazards, and survivors, not reacting emotionally, but acting deliberately. Why? Because calm keeps people alive. A pilot lands a failing aircraft with a steady voice and steady hands. Not because fear doesn't fix anything, calm does. A negotiator in a hostage situation doesn't yell, doesn't panic, doesn't rush. They speak slowly. They observe. They calculate. Why? Because calm creates influence. And the same applies to you. You don't need a hostage situation to practice calm. You just need a life, a job, a relationship, a stressful moment. Calm works everywhere. Calm is control. Calm is power. You lose power when you lose calm. Think about the moments you regret most. Think about the words you wish you didn't say. Think about the decisions you made too fast. Think about the reactions that cost you opportunities. Every one of them has the same root cause. You lost your calm. And when you lose calm, you lose clarity. When you lose clarity, you lose control. When you lose control, you lose power. You can't be mentally strong and emotionally chaotic. You can't be disciplined and reactionary. You can't be strategic and panicked. You have a choice. React like everyone else or rise like someone different. How to build calm as a daily discipline. Calm is not a mood. Calm is not a personality trait. Calm is a trained response. Here's the method. 1. Slow the breath before you respond. Your breath is the remote control to your nervous system. Short breath equals panic. Long breath equals power. 3 slow breaths can save entire days. 2. Delay your reaction by 5 seconds. 5 seconds is enough to stop an emotional spiral. 5 seconds is enough to regain control. 5 seconds is enough to shift from instinct to intention. That's the key. 3. Reduce your volume. Lowering your voice is an act of dominance. Slow speech signals control. Calm tone wins arguments before they start. People listen differently when you stop fighting for noise and start commanding with quiet. 4. Isolate the real problem. Calm gives you the ability to separate the emotional reaction from the actual issue. You stop fighting everything. You start fixing the right thing. 5. Practice calm in micro moments. Annoying driver, rude coworker, unexpected delay, small irritations. These are training sessions. every time you stay calm, you strengthen the muscle. Calm is a skill. Calm is a choice. Calm is a discipline. Why calm generates influence. Here's a truth you need to hear. People follow the calm one. They trust the calm one. They respect the calm one. They listen to the calm one. Calm people make others feel safe. Calm people make others feel organized. Calm people make others feel grounded. Chaos creates followers. Calm creates leaders. You don't need permission to be calm. You need discipline. You have a choice. Join the chaos or rise above it. Calm protects your energy. When you're calm, you don't waste energy on reaction. You don't waste energy on defensiveness. You don't waste energy on panic. Calm keeps your power inside you. Calm keeps your focus available. Calm keeps your strength accessible. Calm keeps your mind clear. People think strength is about pushing harder. Sometimes strength is about pausing. Sometimes strength is about slowing your mind. Sometimes strength is about holding your center when everything else is shaking. Calm is control. Calm is power. Say it again until it becomes instinct. Calm doesn't mean you don't feel. You still feel angry.
Chapter 8. Discipline is a lifeline, not a prison. There's a lie people love to repeat, a lie they use to justify their inconsistency, their chaos, their lack of progress. The lie is this: discipline traps you. Discipline limits you. Discipline kills your freedom. No, that's wrong. That's backwards. And that belief is the very reason people stay stuck where they are. Here's the truth. Discipline is a lifeline, not a prison. It doesn't trap you. It saves you. It saves you when you're tired. It saves you when you're emotional. It saves you when your motivation dies. And it always dies. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. Motivation fades. Discipline stays. Discipline saves you when feelings won't. Say it again. Discipline saves you when feelings won't. That's the key. Look at any person who has built anything worth respecting. A business, a skill, a strong mind, a strong body, a strong mindset. None of it came from motivation. None of it came from waiting to feel ready. It came from discipline, repeated, maintained, protected. It came from choice. And you have the same choice. Discipline is not punishment. It's structure. People confuse discipline with punishment, but punishment limits you. Discipline frees you. Punishment says, you messed up. You're wrong. You're not good enough. Discipline says something very different. Here's the plan. Here's the path. Here's how you win. You don't need their permission. You don't need approval. You need consistency. You need order. Because order is what separates the chaotic from the powerful. When your life is built on discipline, you don't wake up lost. You don't waste energy deciding every little thing. Your routine handles the decisions. Your system carries the weight. Your habits move you forward even when your mind is weak. That's the power most people never experience, because they think discipline means restriction. But the real restriction is being controlled by your impulses. That's the prison. That's the cage. Not discipline, lack of discipline. Discipline is the rope you hold on to when everything else collapses. Think about the hardest days of your life. The days when you didn't want to get up, didn't want to try, didn't want to talk, didn't want to care. If you had waited for motivation on those days, you would have drowned. This is why discipline matters. When your emotions crash, discipline holds the line. When your energy drops, discipline carries you. When your confidence shakes, discipline stabilizes you. Discipline saves you when feelings won't. Repetition matters, because that one sentence will carry you through storms. The strongest people you know aren't strong because they feel strong.
They're strong because they don't need to feel strong to act strong. That's discipline. That's control. That's freedom. Freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want. That's the biggest misunderstanding. People think freedom means zero rules. But look at lives with zero rules. They fall apart. No structure, no direction, no progress, just chaos, just reaction, just damage control. True freedom comes from reliability, from knowing you can rely on yourself, from trusting your own habits, from building a routine that protects your peace, your goals, and your future. Every routine is a promise you make to yourself. Every rule is a boundary you build to protect your progress. Every act of discipline says, I choose long-term strength over short-term comfort. And that choice changes your life. Routines are not boring. They are weapons. You want stability? Build a routine. You want power? Build discipline. You want peace? Create structure. Waking up at the same time, training at the same time, working at the same time, reviewing your goals at the same time. These are not boring habits. They are stability generators. They are clarity builders. They are chaos killers. Your routine doesn't limit you. It liberates you. It frees your mind from unnecessary decisions. It gives you energy for the things that matter. It prevents the emotional roller coaster most people live on. People with no routines get thrown around by every mood, every bad day, every tiny obstacle. People with discipline move regardless. They execute regardless. They follow through regardless. Discipline saves you when feelings won't. That's the key, and it always will be. You're not failing because you're weak. You're failing because you have no structure. Most people think they're inconsistent because they lack strength. But inconsistency isn't a strength problem. It's a system problem. It's not about feeling lazy. It's about lacking discipline. It's not about lacking talent. It's about lacking structure. It's not about weakness. It's about discipline. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. And if your system is chaos, your life becomes chaos. But if your system is discipline, your life becomes order. And when your life becomes order, you win more, you stress less, you move faster, you think clearer, you grow stronger. That's the transformation most people want but never create, because it requires one thing: discipline, day after day, choice after choice, action after action. Discipline is built, not found. No one wakes up with discipline. It's created, just like muscle, just like skill, just like confidence. How do you build it? Simple. You choose one rule at a time, one routine at a time, one boundary at a time. Wake up at a set time. Stick to it. Train even when you don't want to. Stick to it. Work on your goals daily. Stick to it. Say no to what distracts you. Stick to it. Every time you stick to your discipline, you build another brick in the foundation of your strength. And soon, that foundation can carry more than you thought possible. Discipline creates reliability. Reliability creates trust. Trust creates confidence. And confidence creates momentum. That's the real process. That's the real formula. Discipline is not a prison. It's your life vest in a storm. When everything is falling apart, discipline keeps you steady. When you lose people, discipline keeps you focused. When your emotions explode, discipline keeps you grounded. When fear shows up, discipline walks you through it. Chaos will always exist, but discipline gives you a structure that chaos cannot break. That's why discipline isn't a prison. It's protection. It's power. It's stability. It's freedom. And remember, discipline saves you when feelings won't. That's the key. And now you know it. Transition to the next chapter. You've built structure. You've created consistency. You've learned the power of discipline as a lifeline, not a cage. Now it's time to understand the mindset that elevates everything you've learned so far.
Chapter 9. Your future self is watching. Don't let them down. Here's a simple truth few people ever truly grasp. Every choice you make today is a gift or a betrayal to the person you will become tomorrow. Your future self is already watching, quietly, patiently, judging not with anger, but with expectation. Every shortcut you take, every excuse you give, every moment you waste, it's a note written to the future you. And every disciplined action, every sacrifice, every moment of courage, that's a gift. The question is simple. Who are you going to listen to? The version of you who craves comfort today, or the version of you who wants strength tomorrow? You have a choice. That's the key. Your future self is real. Stop thinking of your future self as an abstract idea. Imagine them as a real person, a warrior, a guide, a mentor. This person has trained, they've endured, they fought the battles you're dodging now. And they're watching. What do you think they see when you skip your workout? When you scroll endlessly instead of working on your skill? When you cave to fear instead of taking the next step? They're not judging for punishment. They're disappointed. And disappointment can be heavier than failure. That weight, that silent judgment, it can crush you if you ignore it. But it can also drive you. That's the power of visualizing your future self. Honor your future. Don't betray your potential. Say it out loud. Feel it. Internalize it. The daily audit. Ask yourself the hard questions. Every night, conduct a small, brutal audit. Ask yourself, did I honor the person I am becoming today? Did I take one step closer to the version of me I admire? Did I cheat my potential for comfort or convenience? No sugarcoating, no excuses, just truth. Your answers are signals. They tell you if you're building or destroying, if you're growing or shrinking. And every signal compounds. One day, 1 week, 1 year. Tiny choices create the person you become. The person you want to be doesn't happen by accident. They are built by intention, by repetition, by discipline. You don't need permission to build them. You just need courage. You just need consistency. Examples from real life. Consider someone who transforms their health. They wake early. They resist cravings. They train when no one is watching. Every rep, every meal choice, every decision to stay disciplined, they're answering to their future self. Years later, their body is strong, their confidence is unshakable, their pride is quiet but profound. Or someone who transforms their career. They put in the hours, they learn when no one else is learning. They take risks when others play it safe. Every small sacrifice is a message to their future self. I'm not leaving you behind. I'm building you up. 5 years later, they are unrecognizable. Not because of luck, not because of talent, but because of relentless, intentional action. Even personal relationships, even character. The habits you speak, the words you say, the choices you make, they echo forward. They define who your future self will thank or resent. Your choices today shape the person you become. The first step is awareness. You can't cheat yourself if you see the consequences. Your future self is watching every decision, every wasted hour, every negative thought indulged, every excuse repeated. And here's the hard truth. They don't forgive. They don't forget. They only carry the results. You can fight them now, or you can honor them. That is your power. That is your responsibility.
You have a choice. That's the key. You don't need permission. You don't need someone to validate your discipline. You only need your commitment to the person you want to become. Techniques to connect with your future self. 1. Visualization. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Strong, calm, confident, resilient. Imagine them looking at you. What are they seeing from you today? What do they expect from you today? Feel their presence. Let it guide your actions. 2. Daily journaling. Write a short note to your future self each day. What did you do to honor them? What could you have done better? These notes create accountability. They form a bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. 3. Micro commitments. Discipline is built one small action at a time. Complete the tasks no one sees. Stick to your word when it's inconvenient. Every micro commitment is a message. I see you. I honor you. I am building you. Repetition, the secret weapon. You can't just tell yourself once to honor your future self. You need to repeat it every morning, every night, every time you're tempted to quit. Honor your future. Don't betray your potential. Repeat it until it burns in your brain. Repeat it until it flows from your actions. Repeat it until it becomes the lens through which you make every choice. It's not about motivation. Motivation fades. It's about discipline. Discipline that answers to your future self. Actionable steps for transformation. Stop procrastinating. Every delayed action is a betrayal. Act now. Respect your routines. They are the scaffolding of your future strength. Prioritize your growth over comfort. Temporary ease costs long-term potential. Measure progress daily. Ask, did I honor my future self today? Choose courage over fear. Fear is fleeting. Regret is permanent. This is how you take responsibility for your own evolution. This is how you become the person you admire. The key takeaways. 1. Your future self is always watching. They notice every choice, every habit, every action. Don't betray them. 2. Discipline is the bridge between today and tomorrow. Motivation isn't reliable. Desire isn't reliable. Discipline builds the future version of yourself. 3. Micro-commitments matter more than grand gestures. Small, consistent actions compound into massive transformation. Every moment of integrity, every choice of courage, every act of persistence is a deposit in your future self's account. Closing thought for Chapter 9. Imagine looking back 5 years from now. Will your future self nod in pride at the actions you took today? Or will they shake their head at the wasted potential you left behind? The choice is yours. Honor your future. Don't betray your potential. You've learned discipline. You've learned calm. You've built strength in unseen moments. Now it's time to take it all one step further. To become not just strong, but untouchable.
Chapter 10. Strength is a decision you make again and again. Here's the unvarnished truth. Strength is not something you find. It's not a gift. It's not inherited. Strength is a choice, a decision, repeated over and over until it becomes who you are. You don't become strong in one heroic moment. You don't wake up one day and discover invincibility. You become strong in the tiny, invisible decisions you make every day. Every time you choose discipline over comfort. Every time you resist the urge to quit. Every time you push through even when your mind screams to stop. You are choosing strength. You have a choice. Say it out loud. That's the key. The daily decision to be strong. Look, life is simple, not easy.
It's simple. You either choose to rise or you choose to fold. And folding doesn't just happen in dramatic moments. It happens in the small ones. Do you get out of bed when your body aches? Do you say no to distractions when your attention is weak? Do you show up again and again when nobody is watching? That is where strength lives, in the repeated choice, not in the applause, not in the recognition. Strength is built in silence, in routine, in stubborn consistency. It's not about being fearless. It's about acting despite fear. It's not about feeling invincible. It's about taking action despite weakness. You have a choice. Every day, every moment, every decision. Consistency trumps motivation. Most people wait for motivation. They wait for a surge of emotion. They wait to feel strong. That's weakness disguised as waiting. Strength doesn't require feeling. Strength requires doing. Strength is a muscle. You don't wait for it to appear. You build it through action. Every push-up, every completed task, every difficult conversation you face when you don't want to, that is your strength being forged. You don't need their permission. You don't need anyone to validate your efforts. You just need your commitment to yourself. It's not about feeling ready. It's not about waiting for the perfect conditions. It's about showing up again and again and again. Strength is a series of small wins. No one becomes strong overnight. Strength compounds. Wake up 5 minutes earlier than yesterday. Say no to one more temptation. Complete one more task you've been avoiding. Small wins, repeated, daily. They pile on top of each other. Before you know it, you are no longer the person who hesitated, who doubted, who folded. You are someone reliable, someone resilient, someone unstoppable. Your identity changes, not because someone told you to be strong, not because you read about it or admired it in someone else, because you chose it again and again. Strength is chosen. Choose it again. Real-world examples. Look at athletes. Look at elite performers. They don't get to the top because they had talent alone. They get there because every day, in training, in repetition, in discomfort, they choose strength. The soldier in training who marches farther than their body wants. The entrepreneur who keeps working when clients ignore them. The parent who sacrifices sleep, comfort, and ease to show up for their child. Each choice builds an unbreakable foundation. Each choice reinforces an identity that cannot be shaken. It's not the victory that makes them strong. It's the discipline, the repetition, the daily choosing of strength. You have a choice. You can choose to mimic them or to remain weak. Overcoming the lull. There will be days when the choice feels impossible, when fatigue, doubt, and fear scream louder than your desire to be strong. Those are the days that matter most. Weakness is seductive. It whispers, rest, quit, wait. Strength responds, not today. I act anyway. That's the real difference. Strength is not a feeling. Strength is a decision. Make it again. Make it again tomorrow. Make it again the day after that. Each choice chips away at weakness. Each choice reinforces resilience. Each choice defines your future self. The role of repetition and reinforcement. You must repeat it. Remind yourself, strength is chosen. Choose it again. Repeat it in your mind when your body wants to quit. Repeat it in your actions when distractions call. Repeat it in your habits until your identity aligns with your words. Repetition creates permanence. Permanence creates unshakable confidence. Confidence creates unstoppable action. You have a choice. It's a simple phrase, but it carries the weight of every battle you'll face, every struggle, every test, every moment of weakness. Actionable steps to choose strength daily. 1. Morning commitment. Begin every day by stating aloud your intention to choose strength no matter what the day throws at you. 2. Micro tasks. Break challenges into small actions. Win in the small moments and let the victories compound. 3. Self-audit. Each night ask, did I choose strength today? Where did I falter? How can I improve tomorrow? 4. Eliminate excuses. Weakness thrives on rationalizations. Cut them out. You have no need for them. 5. Embrace discomfort. Strength grows in resistance. Seek it. Confront it. Move through it. Final reinforcement. You don't become strong once. You don't earn strength like a trophy and walk away. Strength is chosen every day, every moment, every decision. And here's the truth few will tell you. Weakness is optional. Strength is optional. The difference is not luck, not talent, not circumstance. It's the repeated decision to choose strength again and again. Every choice builds your identity. Every action reinforces who you are. Every day that you act when it's hard, you cement the foundation of a life that cannot be shaken. You have a choice. That's the key. You don't need their permission. Strength is chosen. Choose it again. Closing thought for the chapter and book. You've learned to control your feelings, to endure pain, to simplify, to honor your future self. Now you understand the final truth. Strength is a living, breathing decision. It's chosen in the quiet moments, in the unseen actions, in the repeated commitment to rise despite fear. So take this moment. Commit to your future. Commit to your identity. Commit to strength. Not just today, not just tomorrow, but again and again. You are strong because you choose to be. Now go out and live it.
Strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you choose every day, especially on the days when you feel exhausted, forgotten, invisible, or overwhelmed. Those are the days that build you. Those are the days that define you. You have a choice. Let weakness speak for you or let discipline speak for you. Let pain control you or let purpose control you. Let fear lead you or let focus lead you. You know the truth now. Strength is a quiet decision made over and over again, even when no one is watching. So here's your final challenge. The next time you feel weak, don't collapse. Don't retreat. Don't wait for someone to save you. Stand up, slow down, breathe, and choose strength again. That's how you rise. That's how you rebuild. That's how you win.